Welcome to our lesson on messaging features in Wise SCADA. First, let's start with email. When we click on Email under Setup, we add a new line in the window that opens. We can create as many email accounts as we wish. We can use different accounts for different purposes within the program. Now I am filling the mail server settings with sample values. We also need to select the SSL mode from here. I am entering the server address as info@fulp.com.tr. We can perform the test operation by clicking the Send button and entering the recipient address. The values I entered were sample values. Therefore, we received an error message and could not send the mail. Let's explain the success and fault columns. For this, let's first create two internal tags of Boolean type. Let's name one success and the other fault. And let's select these tags in the relevant columns. The success tag will be true when the email transmission is successful. The fault tag will be true when it fails. You can use these tags in visual objects for operators to see in runtime. Or you can generate an alarm with them. We created one email account. The process is this simple. I will explain how to use this in other parts of the program shortly. Now let's come to the notification part. We have two different options in notification: sending a message via Telegram or sending via SMS. We need to write a bot token for Telegram. You can find more detailed information regarding these in the help files. Again, you can make tag selections for success and fault statuses. Since the bot token is invalid, if we press the send button, it will fail again. Now let's move on to the part related to SMS. Let's write SMS in its symbol so that we understand this is SMS when using it in other parts of the program. We select SMS in the type section. When we select SMS, it is stated that we need to select a script. Let's add a script. This script we added is slightly different from scripts in other parts of SCADA. There are some tags defined as public. Actually, these tags do not exist within SCADA. There is a sample API code here. You need to edit this code yourself according to the API you use. We compiled the script. There are no errors. Now we select the script. Our SMS definition is now ready. We can use success and fault bits here as well. We currently have 3 messaging accounts. One via Telegram, the other via SMS, and the other via email. Let's look at how to use these within the program. Let's open the screen, add a button, and adjust its size. To perform an operation when the button is clicked, we select Email in the mouse down section under Events. First, we select the email account as the first parameter. When you hover over the second parameter with the mouse, the description part appears. You can also read these from the help files if you wish. The description states to select a tag of string type or enter the recipient within quotation marks. We entered fulp.com as the recipient address. The third parameter is the mail subject. We open the content dialog for this. We use the content dialog window in many places in the program. Let's write error as the subject. Let's add a tag next to it, for example, the now tag. We can also enter a longer description here. The next parameter is content, meaning the content of the mail. We can enter a longer description here as well. Now when this button is pressed, the mail will be sent. We define the content and subject of the mail in the parameters. Let's create another button in the same way. In this button, let's send a notification message this time by following the path properties, events, mouse down. First, let's select Telegram. Here, we can enter a tag of string type in the chat ID section. The chat ID becomes the value of that tag. Or we can write the value directly within quotation marks. Let's use the message to be sent again, which we prepared in content just now. Now when this button is pressed, a message will go to the operator via Telegram. Let's add one more line immediately. Let's use notification again, this time with the SMS option. We can use the same structure here as well. When this button is pressed, both a Telegram message and an SMS will be sent to the user. Of course, these operations usually occur automatically in an alarm status, not with a button. Let's create an alarm for the example. What we select here is not important. The crucial points are the start function and end function sections. We select notification and the relevant account in the start function. We enter the recipient. Let's write active alarm in the content section this time. We don't have to select a tag, we can also write content like temp is high directly. Now when this alarm occurs, the message we defined will go to the Telegram recipient. When the alarm goes away, that is, when the condition creating the alarm disappears, let's send a message to the operator again. We enter the chat ID here again. We can send a message like normal this time as content. We don't have to select a description or tag. We showed sending messages via alarms on the screen. Another method of sending messages can be via reports. Since we need to save the project to create a report, we give it a name and save the project. We compile the report, there are no errors. Our report is now created. Now let's go back to the screen and add a button. Let's select report this time in the button's events, mouse down section. We selected the report we just created. As the first parameter, it asks us to select an email account if we want to send this to a user. We enter the mail address within quotation marks. The last parameter is the file size limit. If we write -1, it tries to send the mail regardless of the file size. If we enter 10, it sends if the file size is 10 megabytes or less, it does not send if it is larger. Finally, we have a chat object. We select the Telegram account for this object, where we can chat with operators via Telegram. We use the account we created in notification here. It is ready after entering the chat ID information as well. With this object, operators in the field can send messages to the operator at the SCADA, or vice versa. Messages here are under recording. When SCADA is reopened, you can see the old messages on this page. You can impose a limit on this file by determining the maximum number of messages. We have finished our lesson on messaging. Thank you for watching.